The Audacity of She. Incisive conversations with women who are challenging the status quo to create wildly fulfilling lives. Plus, practical information you can apply to your life right now. Hi, thanks so much for joining me today. This conversation is with Tanya Boigenzahn, who is the founder of Devanati School of Yoga and Wellness. In this conversation, we talk about how Tanya stumbled into yoga as a way to heal, how she transitioned from working in the West Coast .com world of the 1990s to being laid off and now running a thriving school. She tells us about the moment she knew she would teach yoga for the rest of her life and how everything we experience always brings us to this point. We talk about the importance of doing what you love, of staying fascinated and deepening your knowledge, and being willing to be helped, mentoring others so that they can be skillful. Tanya shares why it's so important to her to be in selfless service, being full enough inside so that she can give to others without any loss. She discusses joyfully showing up and offering compassion or kindness or assistance and the joys of seeing a person's burden lifted. We also talk intuition and getting closer to the soul. Tanya's work always really inspires me, so enjoy this conversation and I will see you on the other side. Tanya, greetings. How are you?
I am well. Thank you.
Super excited to be talking to you today from London.
Yes, I'm here for a couple more days and then I'll be coming back home. Spending a week over here helping with some yoga training and hope to come back and do more over here.
That is so cool. That's one of the things that inspires me so much about watching you is that you're always somewhere different in the world. Like it seems like every other month.
Yeah, I do a lot of travel. Some of it's work related, a lot of it is, and some of it's just pleasure and how I kind of let down and get some space. I work, again, what I do for my career, it's work, but it's also something that I love. So I try not to think of it as work, but I kind of work hard, play hard, I love to travel, and it's a good way for me to kind of get out of the day to day. I tend to get kind of headstrong at home because I office from home. And when I change my environment, I get a lot more downtime.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That makes such good sense. Okay. So let's give people a little bit of background about you. You are the founder and owner of Devanati Yoga and Wellness, but you haven't always been. Tell us what life was like before Devanati.
Well, I started teaching yoga in the mid-90s. I stumbled into yoga when I was in college to help me with some health concerns, and it helped me more than anything else. I saw all these doctors and they didn't know what to do with me, and I started feeling better. So that was something I always practiced, and I navigated through the world in the late 90s and early 2000s in the .com world, but I always taught yoga. So I knew that someday I wanted to have my own school and travel and teach. And so it was kind of over a period of time. I lived out on the West Coast and taught, but always on the side. And then eventually when I left the .com world, I moved back to Minnesota, to Minneapolis, and then started my school there. But I taught at a different studio for a while until I opened my studio, and to focus mainly on tradition and specific trainings and wellness certifications and going deeper into the philosophy and all that kind of stuff. And along the way, I also learned a lot of other modalities that weave into the yoga, such as energy medicine and Thai yoga bodywork, Ayurveda, yoga therapy, and a variety of other things.
Yeah, that was how I met you, was when I came to you to have some Reiki work done. So I had a really great experience there. Now, your school, like you called it a school, it's not
Right.
just a yoga center. So tell us how you ended up on that path and why you didn't want it to just be a kind of drop-in studio.
Right. Well, for years I had been working at or running my own yoga studio. I spent 9 years at another place that was mainly a studio. And for me, in my career path, I was just interested in sharing, just a higher level of teaching, that's something that wasn't just a drop-in kind of situation. And when I opened the doors to Devanati, it was meant to be like, Tanya's studio, like come see me for Thai yoga bodywork training or yoga teacher training, or see me for a consult or whatever. And then I kind of allowed a lot of other things to happen there too with more people. And so it was a couple of years ago now that I kind of simplified and went back to my original intention of being really just a school. And I still do have other really amazing teachers involved that help me run the programs. And we host also really amazing teachers that are world renowned. But the main focus is less of a day-to-day yoga class situation. We focus mostly on training, higher education, immersions, mentorship, guest teachers, and like workshop series. So I don't actually teach a drop-in class anymore. I teach workshop series. I'd rather take a student through a consistent theme over a period of time than just see them every once in a while. And that's actually traditionally how yoga was, is you wouldn't just dabble and come here and there. You would come the same time every week, see the same teacher. And honestly, in the 20 some years that I've been teaching, I feel like that's the best way for students to learn, is to commit to something and keep showing up consistently in the same setting so that you can deepen your practice.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. So how did you know back when you were on the West Coast and doing all this tech work, how did you know that you wanted more?
Oh, that was easy. I when I started practicing yoga, I got into teaching about 3 years later, just by accident. And I had somebody request that I would teach a class, and at that time I hadn't had any yoga teacher training, nor did I have a teacher. But I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and I actually ended up meeting this Tai Chi master in a little brew pub in Jackson, Wyoming, of all places, who heard my story. And he said, "Well, you know that you're going to teach yoga the rest of your life, don't you?"
Mm,
And something about that moment, it just like, it was a shock to my system in a good way. Like I just knew that that was what I came here to do. And it just wholeheartedly gave me this insight to everything else that had happened in my life to that very moment, that, everything that I've experienced has led me to this moment. I could see why, I stopped being a pre-med student. I could see why I travel the world. I could see why I had a, illness that nobody could define when I was 20 years old, but yoga helped me. And so all the dots came together. So it gave me tremendous energy to pursue that, because I had such a personal experience with the power of these teachings.
mm,
So, as I continue to explore my other sets of tools, financially, I mean, teaching yoga at that time wasn't going to pay my bills. So I just happened to get into .com, and that was lucrative. But I always knew that that was just a stepping stone to me doing something bigger with my passion, which was yoga and its related modalities.
mm,
So it's kind of one of those things where, I was there doing the work, but I always knew I wasn't going to be there. And then I actually got laid off when the .com bust happened in 2001. And part of me was a little scared, because at that time everybody made a lot of money, but we spent money thinking that it was just around the corner. But I also knew, well, gosh, I'm working really hard for these companies that I don't really care about. Can I just put that into what I love and make that successful, so that I can be, profitable, but doing what I love.
mm,
So that was my attitude. And I also knew that I wasn't going to just teach yoga. That's where I was smart about it. I said, well, okay, well, if I'm going to really do this, I want to diversify myself. I want to study energy medicine and Thai yoga bodywork, and build my toolkit so that I can see multiple different types of clients and not get burnt out. That was the other thing I saw too. Like, friends who did massage, they were all burnt out and doing the same thing. And I knew that consciously having a variety of different things that all kind of spoke the same language, but were different facets of it, was going to keep me interested and also deepening my understanding of it. And that's what actually happened.
Mm. So then how long did it take you to, how did you get the courage to take that leap then when you had gotten laid off?
When I got laid off, it was like, well, I mean, what happened was I got laid off. I was living in Portland, Oregon at the time. My job was actually based in San Francisco, and I was telecommuting for about a year. And, there was some unemployment compensation, but it wasn't very much. It was like $900 a month. And I hadn't saved a lot of money. So I was like, well, I can't like ding around too long. But at that time, I finished my yoga teacher training, and I was actually planning on starting to teach yoga more specifically in Portland when I found some freelance work back in Minneapolis, and I came back there for that, and I ended up staying. Yoga was still kind of just getting its legs, and it allowed me to, do a lot quickly with my experience teaching and my studies. I would honestly say too, I really thought about it, but a lot of it was the situation at the time when I got laid off. Within 3 months, every single friend I had in Portland that worked in .com in the kind of work that I did, which was design, everybody was laid off. So there were no jobs. So it was kind of like, well, I guess, I can live off my really stingy unemployment, and I can try to do what I love, let's just see what happens. So it was really like, in a lot of ways, it freed me from feeling obligated to just go back and work a job and save money. It kind of, helped me move past the illusion that you have to have a certain amount of money to make yourself successful. I would actually say, sometimes you do, depending on what you want to do, but a lot of times it's your passion and your resources. And I was able to do a lot of the things that I would have maybe had to hire out for because I had that background in marketing and web design and things like that. I could make my own flyers. I could make my own website. I could do that stuff. And it just made it easier for me to get the word out there about what the things that
Yeah, it seems like everything kind of lined up perfectly for you to have no option but to pursue your passion, huh?
Yeah, I think it did. But I just always thought I'd stay in Portland, though, to be honest. I loved living there. So it took me a little while to get accustomed to living back in Minneapolis where I grew up, and I never thought I'd live there again. But now,
did you think you would leave Minneapolis? Like after you came back, did you think you would leave again?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I was there temporarily. All my stuff was in storage in Portland, and I was going to move back. And a few things kept me there. And then I actually moved back to Portland a year later. And then when I got there, I realized, you know what? Everything I want to do, I'm already doing in Minneapolis. Like, I need to go back there and just put my head down and accept it. And that was, eating a little humble pie. And there's still some sadness about that, because I do feel like when I lived on the West Coast, there was, just a different energy that suited me really well. But at the same time, I'm just so grateful that I get to do what I love to do here, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, how does life feel for you now? Because you travel so often. You have this amazing school that changes lives. You host teachers from around the US. Like, how does that feel?
It feels good. At the end of the day, I'm a pretty busy person. People say, how do you get done what you do? But I just stay organized, and I try to stay consistent with my vision. And, I feel like the offerings that we offer as a school I have no regrets. I don't feel bad about anything that we do. I don't, when I worked for the last.com I worked for every day, I'd be like, what am I doing? I'm selling this crap, that I don't resonate with. And it literally was digging, making a black hole in my heart. I don't have that at all. I don't have any kind of guilt or shame. I just feel like, I try to attract the best teachers and students to study these higher teachings to help create positive change in people's lives and in the world. So as far as losing energy on that, I don't have any loss. That keeps me going for sure.
Huh. And what helps you to navigate and keep going when you have ups and downs, just in entrepreneurship in general?
hmm yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm really a teacher. That's really my role in life that I have determined and what makes me happy. And as an entrepreneur, somebody that runs a business, I mean, there's a lot of challenges just with time and energy and personal relationships and all that stuff. So absolutely it has its cost and its toll. But what keeps me going is, you know, if the world is a better place because of the effort that I'm putting out there, then it's worth it. The balance comes in though of, self-care and, you know, having fun, downtime. And it's the same kind of stuff that you hear from any business owner is it's all about balance. And it's a practice, usually you find a lot of business owners very determined. They're usually the best person to do the skills. They can do it very efficiently and easily. But at the end of the day, you burn both ends of the candle. So you have to ask for help and be willing to be helped and mentor others so that they can be skillful and then let go. So yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still the mission is just changing positively people's lives and helping them improve the quality of their lives.
Yeah, I love that. So tell us the highlights of like the past couple years. What's been one of your most gratifying moments or experiences?
Oh gosh, let's see. There's quite a lot of gratifying experiences. I love seeing the transformation of a student, really getting it. And then, at the end of our programs, everybody has to teach a full class for observation and, seeing how they put together their class and sharing it with others and the smiles on their faces. And then I always do an exit interview with students so I can, have a chance to just sit with them one-on-one and kind of review their time. And, I remember talking to a student last year who was saying that she felt so overwhelmed with all the information because we do supply lots of that in our programs. But when she taught, she felt so free and so energized. And when she just let go, that she was so happy to help other people. And she didn't think she actually joined one of our programs not wanting to teach. But then when she got a taste of it, she's like, I don't see how I can't do this. Like, I feel a calling to go out and help other people feel this goodness that has touched my life. So, those kinds of things are amazing. Just seeing people truly enjoy sharing. And, at the end of the day, I really feel like that's kind of one of the main keys of happiness is to be in selfless service, to be full enough inside so that you can give to others without any loss. You can just joyfully show up and offer compassion or kindness or assistance. And the joy is just received by seeing that other person's burdens lifted.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, I'm really curious to know what book you would like to share right now.
Okay, great.
This segment is brought to you by Audible. For you, my friends and listeners of The Audacity of She, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial so you can check out their service for yourself. I've used Audible consistently month over month to have access to all of my favorite books. To see my recommended list and start your free trial, visit theaudacityofshe.com/books. Again, that's theaudacityofshe.com/books. All right, Tanya, we are back, and I'm super curious to know what book you'd like to share.
Well, I'd like to actually recommend an Oracle card deck. I love using Oracle cards as a way to tap into my intuition. Every day I pull a different card in the morning when I'm setting my morning intentions. And it just helps me kind of see like what's on my radar, what's in front of me that I'm not paying attention to, and how can I pull out some of those answers. And my favorite deck that I'm using right now that's awesome for women is called the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. And it's by a woman named Alana Fairchild. You can get it on Amazon. And she has another one called the Kuan Yin Oracle, which is beautiful and compassionate and loving. But the wild Kuan Yin is for like, yeah, when you just feel that deep pulse within you, that creative energy, you don't want to be held back by anything. And, there's all these beautiful different cards. And like I pulled one last night actually, and it was like exactly what I needed to hear. Those were all these kind of subtle feelings and different things that I was kind of intuiting. And as I picked the card, I looked at it, I was like, of course I got that one. And then as I read it, I actually got tears in my eyes because it was exactly what I needed to hear.
Mm.
So I highly recommend it. And it's super powerful. I don't use it all the time. And even with my teaching, I pull it out when we really need to kind of, get to the inner truth of like that girl in you that is free and unabashed and has that, super creative, powerful energy. And when you want to pull her out, it's a great deck for that.
Mm. Okay, so I wasn't planning on going here, but then we have to talk about it. So Tanya, do you think that decks run counter to any particular religion like Christianity?
Personally, I don't. I think it taps into your intuition more than anything else. And your intuition, I believe, comes from source. So whatever source is to you, I think that that's your personal relationship and it's nobody's business. But the Oracle card decks, depending on what you're drawn to, you can always get decks that help you connect more to that spiritual source. And for me, I'm pretty open. I feel a closeness to source that I already recognize within me. So it's more of like, what do I need to open the door so I can be with that? That's the Oracle deck.
So how do you think the Oracle deck works to do that? How do you get the right card at the right time?
Oh gosh, those are questions I don't even ask because I like to keep it in the mystery. My intuition or my intention is show me what I need to know today to help me on my path. It's always my intention. It's simple. And I'm not asking anybody other than my higher self. And, we all have all the answers. I really believe that underneath our mind, which is not who we are, it's a function of who we are. It's not who we are. But underneath the mind, the soul shines through and it always is connected to the highest good. So, whatever I can use to get closer to that, that's what I'm interested in using in a mindful, way that's helpful, not harmful. So that I should also clarify, like if I had an Oracle card deck, for example, that I felt a lot of conflict with, I wouldn't use it. There are some that I'm like, they're not very juicy or I don't resonate with them. But when I feel like it's touched my soul with something I already know, but it's brought it to my consciousness so I can actually use it in my day to day, then that's helpful. And to be honest, like I know people can overuse these kind of tools and not rely on their own intuition. I feel like for me, I usually meditate first and then I pull my card and it's almost as if the card is there to say, yes, this is exactly what you already know. Here we are, source is coming to remind you that you know everything. And it's just it's a beautiful way of creating connection. And it makes me feel held in the lap of the divine in that moment rather than. And as somebody who teaches spiritual traditions and getting in touch with that higher level of awareness, that is one big obstacle is people feeling like they need to do it all on their own. And I really believe that you don't. I think that we're supported so much more than we think we are if we just let go and surrender.
I love that. I think that is perfect. Is there anything else that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. There's just lots of things that we offer at the school. And, we have a lot of different ways to learn more about your best self, whether it's, energy work or body work, yoga, different avenues for people to explore and ultimately, lead you to your best self and share that best self with others.
Absolutely. So tell people how to find you if they're interested.
You can find Devanati, which is Devanati School of Yoga and Wellness. We're on the internet at devanatiyoga.com. Same thing from Instagram and Facebook. It's, hashtag Devanati Yoga. And yeah, if you go onto the website, you can contact us. We are updating the website pretty soon, so things will change around a little bit, but hopefully it'll be easier to navigate. That's the intention.
Yeah, so obviously really accessible for people who are living in the Twin Cities, but I think also really worth a trip for people who are around the country and maybe even out of country. I know you have Rod Stryker come by sometimes and
Mhm.
other noteworthy speakers.
That's true. We get a lot of people that travel in for different things. We had people from in our summer teacher training, which is a month long. We get people from all over. We only had 3 people from the Twin Cities last year. We had a
Wow.
Morocco student, Kansas, New York City. So people do come and they spend time at our school just because they say that we offer what they're looking for. Just in-depth study. This is all we do. We're not just dabbling in yoga, and I'm not a business person running a yoga school. I'm a yoga teacher. Has school. So I think the intention is there. And, I also travel and teach, and a lot of the teachers that teach at Devanati, we also travel a lot. And hopefully that'll become more of the norm. I love to travel and teach and bring these teachings to new people. And as my son gets older, I'll do more of that too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was really great to talk with you.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Did today's topic inspire you, encourage you, or challenge you to look at your own processes in a different way? Join us in our Facebook group to continue the conversation. It's where all the good stuff happens after the show. It's theaudacityofshe.com/Facebook. Again, that's theaudacityofshe.com/Facebook. See you there.